John chapter 2. Here the signs begin. Someone had already opened John to chapter 2 before the mugs finished filling. The same living room, the same 6 chairs, continuity without ceremony. Last week's tent language still lived in the margins of a few Bibles. The door sketch Diego had folded away stayed folded. Nobody needed a recap of the house frame. Tonight the page had moved. Claire set the pot down and stayed standing only long enough to find her place. Before we leave chapter 1 completely, Caleb, you texted that something from last week finally landed. Caleb nodded, a little sheepish. John 1 verse 18. No one has ever seen God. We flew past it for the tent and the lamb. I read that thought Tapestries piece afterward. The face of God and the face of language. It helped. Face to face in Genesis and Exodus isn't always the same claim John is making. Sometimes it's closeness and clear speech, not surviving unmediated glory. Once I stopped reading the idiom like modern technical prose, the tension eased. The Son makes him known. I didn't want that to vanish just because we turned a page. Nora's ribbon had already advanced. Good. Leave it where it belongs, in last week's post, traveling with us. Not as tonight's main road. Claire sat. Agreed. Chapter 2. Whole thing. John is about to number something. Hear the number before we invent a theology about wine. She looked at Nora. Cana of Galilee. Nora read. 3rd day at Cana, a wedding, the mother, the disciples, wine gone. They have no wine. My hour has not yet come. Then the mother to the servants, do whatever he tells you. 6 stone jars for purification, filled to the brim. Draw some out. The master tastes what he did not source, the servants know. Good wine kept for last, and the stamp John will not wait to place. This, the first of his signs, Jesus did at Cana in Galilee and manifested his glory, and his disciples believed in him. Micah's pen moved once. He stamps the thread at the event, beginning of the signs. Not a nice miracle for a party, filed later under wonders. And look who sees the glory, Amina said. Not the guests, not the master. He thinks the bridegroom finally learned timing. Servants know the water, disciples believe. Private, formational, almost rude if you came for a show. Diego leaned back. Is that fair though? People drink the wine, the feast is saved. At the table it might have felt like mercy for a host about to be shamed. John is the one later calling it a sign. Both can be true, Nora said. Mercy for a feast and a mark that distinguishes him. Sign is something by which a person is known, not only a wonder, a pointer. Claire cut the trophy Greek before it started. Function, not flex. Sign that reveals, glory shown, belief named, for the disciples, not the guest list. Micah still had a finger on the jars. Purification vessels. He doesn't smash them, he fills them. What comes out isn't water for washing, it's wine for a wedding. Relocation without a speech. Careful, Diego said. That's the sermon everybody wants to write before they finish the chapter. Then finish it, Claire said. She looked at Amina. Temple. Amina read. Capernaum, Passover near, up to Jerusalem. Sellers, money changers, whip of cords, coins poured, tables overturned. Do not make my father's house a house of trade. Zeal remembered. What sign do you show us? Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. 46 years, they say. He spoke of his body. After he was raised, the disciples remembered and believed. Many believed because of the signs. And quieter than the whip, he himself knew what was in man. A car passed outside. The window glass trembled and settled. Same word, Micah said. Sign. At Cana he gives one. In the temple they demand one. Gift forms the people already walking with him. Demand tries to put him on a leash of proof. Caleb looked up from the page. And the people who believe because of the signs still don't get his trust. Belief real enough to name, and still not a place he rests his weight. That is not the altar call I grew up with. Knowing what is in a man is heavier than the whip, Amina said. The whip is public. The knowledge is quiet. Diego would not let Cana of Galilee go. If the first sign is private, why a wedding at all? Why not a desert and 12 disciples only? There's a feast in the middle of the secrecy. Glory leaks into ordinary celebration even when half the room never learns the source. So the servants matter, Nora said. Not disciples, not master. They filled jars because someone said do whatever he tells you. Obedience without a full map. Not the same as the temple crowd asking for credentials after the tables hit the floor. Claire did not stack the night into a list of takeaways. 2 rooms, 1 word, she said. Here's where the sign motif starts. Stated forward, not explained backward from Lazarus. Glory is manifested, not staged for entertainment. Some taste better wine and never ask. Some demand a sign and still misread the answer. Some believe enough to cheer and not enough to be entrusted. The body he calls temple is where the argument goes when 3 days have done their work. And the face question from last week, leave it under 118 and the piece Caleb named. Tonight's weight is the first sign in the kind of belief that does not automatically earn trust. Micah closed his pen without capping it. If I only keep one thing, John numbers the first sign so I can't pretend later that the thread was my idea. Amina's almost smile was tired and sharp. If I keep 2, the people who knew the water were not the people who got the credit for the wine. Outside, the street did ordinary night things. Inside, Chapter 2 held, less like a miracle catalog, more like a door-stamped beginning, with last week's unfinished face language still in the room and a new word, sign, refusing to stay simple once glory and knowledge had been named beside each other.